You know what?
What, Evan?
I honestly think, as much as people love to glaze the living shit out of Travis Hunter,
Yeah.
I truthfully do think this man, no matter what people say, so what, he won the Heisman. So what, he might be the new Deion Sanders of today.
Okay.
I honestly think, fuck that shit. I think he's going to turn into one of the biggest divas and busts in NFL history.
Are you crazy?
No, not really.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, that's always you.
Okay, yeah, for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last episode of us in studio. Don't worry, we're not going away too long.
Pop finally got a big boy job.
Yeah, I finally grew up and graduated. Thank God, man.
Peaches finally came in.
Feels good to be done. But nevertheless, we will never be done because as the sports world consistently moves on, we have a very exciting episode for you today. Followed up by tonight, we are doing the draft. So if you're seeing this post later, go check out it will be on YouTube. It was saved on YouTube. Our NFL draft first round analysis and whatnot. We'll be doing 45 minutes early, right around, and getting on camera to talk about our expectations and whatnot. You know, the NFL draft is tonight. Obviously, we got some big news coming out of the college football world with all the drama with Tennessee.
If
and
only
NIL.
we were in Lambeau.
Well, yeah, for real. But going back on that drama with Tennessee, what do you think about that? And then that quarterback there doing what he's doing. I don't think it's good for the game. This is like one of the things I saw going into the NIL era, and people can out there attest to my opinions on this. I saw this happen. You could see it happen throughout the country that players are now starting to say, hey, yeah, if you're not going to pay me what I want, I'm not going to play. And I think this is bad for college football. What do you think about that?
It is, but think about it this way. The reason all of this happens is it's a money move. It sucks, but it's a money move because, obviously they're not professional athletes.
Yeah.
And they're not semi-professional athletes either. They're just they're kids, like just you and I. The issue is it's just the fact that NIL has dominated. I would have loved it back when we were playing, of course.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's ruined it to the point where now basically, I'm not going to play because I'm not this. It's like, okay, some of these kids aren't all
They're not going to make the NFL. So they're like, let's just give me the money now. And like Nico Lama
was.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. A lot of people, I saw this on Mike talking about him the other day. A lot of people weren't really high on him, which is, I know, weird to think, but like the dude wasn't like.
Watch him go to UCLA and tear it up, though.
There's no way.
Okay.
There's no way. Tennessee was the scenario of dreams. You wanted that.
You really did.
It's got great coaching. It's got a great system. It's got awesome recruiting. And you got Neyland. You got arguably one of the best atmosphere in college football.
Yeah.
If not one of the best in the SEC.
Now, do you see a lot more of this playing out with quarterbacks or, the diva skill position players rather than like defensive linemen, offensive linemen, guys who are about the culture?
I hope we don't see this at all.
But you see this, could this continue where players hold out? Like the NCAA just passed a bylaw saying you can't fake an injury to withhold out. So basically all those guys who declare for the draft early have kind of no excuse to not play in bowl games. They can't like fake an injury. So not saying that who's the guy from Michigan, the star corner, not saying that guy faked an injury at all to withhold his draft status, but like it's very interesting that he didn't play for majority of the year and Michigan was pretty much unaffected by it. But it's sad to see that happen. It's sad to see players kind of fake injuries to withhold draft status.
The NBA.
It really does. It's turning into this drama-filled, I need my own. You're playing, you get a scholarship. You go into those schools, and I understand, make the money you can, but once school and once the college football world becomes all about making money, which it is, it's really turning into a minor leagues. It is, though.
I know, and that's what I wasn't hoping would happen. I was hoping you could have that name, image, likeness, that we could get the games, obviously, like on our sports video games.
Yeah, NCAA 25.
But stuff like that, just cut it at that. Like, cut him a deal there. Like, or fine, you can be sponsored by stuff. Fine. But these kids are our age making $4 or $5 million driving crazy cars, and you're just a college kid. Just imagine you're not an athlete, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that's the issue. Is like these guys who are driving Lamborghinis around and like Texas,
or getting them stolen.
Yeah, or getting them stolen in terms of
Carson Beck, your girlfriend's got married. Sorry.
Oh god, dude, that's a whole nother mess. I mean, like to your point, it's kind of turning into this NBA type of scenario.
It's turning into like to kind of throw back to our old podcast of like gladiators and all the pomp and circumstance. And it's too much. I mean, it's nice the kids are getting what they want.
Yeah.
But at the same time, imagine you're sitting in class with one of these kids and you're just like,
well, they're not. The thing is like they go to class with a posse around. They're not just showing up to class like you and I would.
Right.
Like these kids are like protected athletes.
Right. But that's the thing. Imagine this, like the fact that like back in our day when we were younger, if there was a star athlete, you'd actually interact with them.
Yeah, and I mean that's even the disdain that like I don't know. NIL is a very interesting thing. I think it good. It
started good and then it just got out of control,
and as most things do. But you know, one of the things that I like to see the NCAA do is put out more bylaws with it and kind of control it, because this is an example of something that ruins the game. This at least is a straight up example of that.
Well, at least Tennessee did the right thing. That's the thing.
If Tennessee paid out this kid, I would have been like, wow, okay, so these institutions are not only, paying these athletes millions of dollars, and they're getting millions of dollars as a college student, as a not even professional, not even a semi-pro, as a student, as an amateur, they're getting millions of dollars. And then when it comes down to it, the school's bowing to them. Like that.
That's the nice thing. At least with the school, took action and didn't.
Yeah, and I agree.
Not saying that other schools wouldn't either, but it's nice to see that obviously Tennessee did do the action, even though, the dude was a great player. The kid was young, whatnot, but it's good to see Tennessee actually took the action to it. Because, Nico doesn't deserve to, isn't a $4 million quarterback if we want to go based on, evaluation of talent. He's a great guy, but, arguably the reason Tennessee made the playoff this past year wasn't on the heels of him.
No, and that's
their run game and their defense, honestly.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of the thing going forward is you got to protect the team rather than just a star player. But you look at a Bryce Underwood type argument there too from a Michigan fan's perspective. We paid him $12 million to come to Michigan,
and some shit under the table too.
We can't speak to that, but
there was some inside shit, and I'll be honest.
All right. Well, that's a bold take there, and
I could say this for all I want. There was a lot more stuff that has not been said about it.
Okay, fair enough.
The fact it flipped that fast. The dude had been committed for 2.5 years to LSU, and then out of nowhere, Michigan's in the picture.
I don't think it was 2.5 years, was it?
2.5 years. The dude, Michigan wasn't in the picture until the last month, if not a couple days.
Okay, I
know he's from Michigan, obviously.
Yeah, he's from Belleville.
But at the same time, the dude has been committed for years.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why it's so confusing how somehow Michigan was able to land him after.
Yeah,
there was no indication of it.
All right,
I was surprised.
I was excited when he flipped. I thought that was really good, but no, I think this football season.
Quarterbacks, I think Childs takes a step forward. I'll be honest. I think a step forward in the right direction.
Childs, okay, yeah. Hopefully that's what you want from a coaching perspective. Yeah,
honestly, I think
the development can be there, and I think he'll be a good quarterback. And I think you guys have a better team this year, definitely.
What bugs me too? Think about it this way: if you're Michigan, why do you need Underwood when you not 2 weeks after that poached Mikey Keene from Fresno State? What's the point?
I think the point is to try to win a national championship in the next 4 years.
But why would you? Okay, but Mikey Keene could be a pretty good starter.
I think also along with that, the University of Michigan. I was looking on the background of this, and they got some big NIL donors to kind of free up some money.
And that's what everyone knows.
Yeah, and
what
that's
got him.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to the main issue is that, like, look at Ohio State. They spent an absorbent amount on that team last year. Look at, before, the NIL was really a big thing. I think the last pure national championship and the last pure national champions was that Washington versus Michigan game, because NIL wasn't a big factor like it is now.
I would say there's a bigger one.
It's a pay
2019 LSU.
Well, yeah, but
Joe Burrow came into that season looking.
I think that was also, but I would rank those two teams as a couple of the greatest national champions of all time. I think Michigan, arguably, though, had the better squad when it came to it. We could run the ball down anyone's throats and just dominate. So, like,
I would say it's the 2019 LSU team, if I'm being honest.
You're entitled to your opinion, but I just think, obviously Joe Burrow and the guys he had around him, that's a great passing threat. Our secondary last year, yes.
The guy did
in college,
the dude was a backup until he went to LSU.
Yeah,
and then somehow something just clicked.
And we've seen this kind of in the league too. Look at Kirk Cousins. You like that?
Kirko,
I mean, just big.
He's fit for Atlanta now with all the white man energy.
That was surprising, and we'll get in more into the NFL talk in tonight's episode and whatnot. But kind of going back to a team like the Tigers. Speaking of the Tigers, LSU, Detroit, the Detroit Tigers. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball consistently. They are right now in the league standings wise. They are tied for the being the top teams in the AL. They are 15-10, and they are tied with the New York Yankees for that top spot. Did you even think this was a possibility coming into spring training?
I'm a little worried because it's still early.
Okay, so you're worried. Why? Explain me. Bring me.
It's early.
That's
so
your only argument. I mean, right now we're pretty up there. We're top 3 in runs batted in.
games in this season, and that worries me. Because think about it this way. You can start off really hot. Guys are firing on all cylinders. But here's the thing. If you're playing at 100% for games and games and games, you're going to get tired eventually. That's what I worry.
So you're worried about attrition.
I worry attrition's going to set in.
You're a big attrition man, dude. I don't understand this. I mean,
I worry about it with all the teams I support all the time.
One of the tropes I kind of look at is Jim Leland when he was the manager for the Tigers years ago. He was like, evaluate a team 40 games in. That will kind of tell you how we're doing halfway through. Right now, the Tigers are 25 games in. They're at 600% win percentage. So they're obviously way above 500 there. And they just beat in a series wins 2-1 against one of the better teams in the NL. How does that? How am I like crazy?
No. Like, I'm not calling you crazy on this. No,
I have confidence in this team not only to dominate in the playoffs, but make it to the World Series right now.
My only concern is what we were talking about a little bit earlier before we started the show.
Yeah,
was our bullpen.
So you think due to the Tigers having those early innings where they're hitting the ball like crazy. And then the drop-off that we've kind of seen in the bullpen's attrition setting.
Exactly. Okay. Because think about it this way. If that attrition sets in, I mean, it's a long, long season. And if you can't have guys where, like, fine, you'll get a big enough lead. All right, you need to hold that lead then. You can't just let teams back in because...
Yeah. I mean, I really do think, the likes of Reese Olson, Jack Flaherty, and obviously Skubal.
Those are starters, though. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Though. But in this day and age, starting pitching doesn't matter anymore. It's we use as many pitchers as possible, which is annoying.
Yeah. I mean, we do have some pretty solid guys in the bullpen that I'm kind of looking at here. Guys like Tommy Canale.
Right.
And then Will Vest as well. And obviously, but if you get a few guys injured and a few guys banged up, but even a Jackson Jobe type guy, I could see them.
Jobe starting or is he playing a reliever?
Jobe is being the starting pitcher. He's got a decent ERA at 2.70.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but you could use Jackson since he's so young. If guys start, having bad reliefs and not closing out games, you could throw him in the bullpen. I could see AJ Hinch doing that.
But that's the only thing I worry about then. If he's playing all those long innings and then goes into relief, you don't risk an injury there too.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Remember, yes, the Dodgers won the World Series last year, but it wasn't because of their pitching.
It was because of their bats.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's another topic that Detroit is playing very well. I mean, we got some consistency throughout the team. Zach McKinstry obviously is on a tear. Kerry Carpenter is doing pretty well.
I think you have what it takes. It's just like I said, it's too early to tell.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Spencer Torkelson obviously is playing very well early. I think it is early, but the trend is consistently
absolutely.
good.
I'm not discounting it. If we can consistently play like this and just stay healthy, awesome.
Yeah, if we can manage a 600 win percentage this entire season, I would say that's a major turnaround comparatively to last year. Now, right now, as where we sit, who do you think can kind of compete with us? Besides the top guys, New York and Boston, who do you see in that kind of lower half of the AL that is kind of sneaky right now?
There's not really a sneaky team in this. I'll say that. I'll be honest. If anything, it's going to be up top. It's going to be a Boston team. I know they're not number one right now in the AL East, but if anything, it might be Toronto. I don't know, but I think Boston's going to be your biggest threat, if I'm being completely honest.
I mean, I could see a Texas Rangers team.
Yeah, but we won't have to play them you'd have to play them down the road.
True. That would be a way, much like ALCS type.
Exactly.
But another, Cleveland again. Cleveland's playing pretty well. They're 14-10. They're a half game back of Detroit right now. They've
also had a semi-easy stretch the past couple of games too.
Yeah, I mean, they played they played the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees are up there as well, and they won 2-1 against them. And
I think the Yankees are just staying hot because of their bats, honestly.
Okay.
I think they'll fall off towards the end.
Okay, so you think it's just a slow grind. Now, let's move, obviously, because I talked about the World Series. Who do you see coming out of the NL as kind of the favorites? The MLB kind of came out and said the Dodgers are still the best team in the world, or in the MLB. Our buddy Zach, who's a big Dodgers fan, shout out Zach, said no. We're gonna fall apart. What do you think about his comments? Do you think?
I'd agree. They're just getting injured left and right. They can't stay healthy to save their life. It's turning into last year.
Well, as your argument earlier, it's a long season,
but there's like the key stuff right now. Shohei's not even playing anywhere. What he's doing?
Yeah, I mean,
if I'm being honest, if you're a Dodgers fan, I'm sorry, you're in third place right now in the NL West.
Yeah, and
the thing is, Arizona's only a half game behind you right now, so technically you have 3 teams currently right now in the NL West above you as the Dodgers. The only team in your NL West that's worse than you is the lowly Rockies.
Yeah, and that's surprising for
I know it's early, but I mean, the NL West is arguably the scariest division in baseball right now.
Yeah, and then obviously San Diego, we talked a little bit about them.
San Diego's scary good, and I always talk to Zach. I'm like, so out of all the teams year in, year out, who do you worry about most? San Diego is his answer every time.
Okay, yeah.
No matter what, because they have beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've beat them in the regular season. They know how to beat them at their game, no matter who's pitching on, who's batting.
You disagree with obviously MLB saying the Dodgers are the best team.
No, I don't. It's just I don't know why they still have it.
Who's the best team in the NL then? In your
mind, I
don't
know at this point because there's so many. Well,
good ones. We got the Mets. Obviously, have the best record.
Fizzle.
Mets are fizzling. San Diego. Do you think they're legit?
I think they're legit. I don't know if they're going to be the top dog in the NL. Though.
Okay, and then San Francisco. We talked.
Top dog.
You had excitement about them previously.
They're playing great. But they're still not top dog. I honestly think it's going to be Phillies or Braves might turn it around. I don't see
the Braves turning it around. That's a wide dude. They started off like.
They still are
deader than shit,
and they still are.
They're 10-14. I mean, they have a good roster.
They have an amazing roster. It's just they're injured too.
Yeah,
Acuna still hasn't come back from his ACL tear from last year.
That's crazy.
And Strider just had his first start in over a year. So I mean, they're still getting guys back. So there's that too. This year I've seen a lot of key injuries, which it's really weird. Yeah, I think it's going to be another NL team that wins the World Series this year.
Okay. But you're not the Dodgers.
No, I also see the Cubs are doing really well.
Yeah, that's my next question. Could you see the Cubs making that jump and winning the? I'm not predicting anything here, but
I see them playing great. They just swept the Dodgers right now. Their season series. I mean,
that's awesome
and
for them.
It was Oh,
my thing is this, dude, and like it pisses me off because like yes, we were the first series with the Dodgers in the new season. Yes, like we did
You're
play.
raw. You were just raw.
Yeah, like I want to play them again.
It
like,
also doesn't help the Dodgers also played 2 games prior, so they kind of had a little.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're on the same page with that, and obviously
I
we
think
got.
It'd be a great second chance.
Oh yeah, definitely. But out of the Tigers' bats right now, we'll go back to bats. Who has been your, a guy that you thought wouldn't be in this position?
I would say Torque. You're wearing him right now.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised because
Yeah.
a lot of people were thinking he was going to get traded sometime this year.
Yeah, he really stepped up and has done great.
He's answered the bell when need be. I mean, as long as he stays like this, he's not going to
I
trade
mean, he
it.
has 7 home runs, 21 RBIs, and has the most
like
hits on
still.
the team. Yeah, no, he's really growing into that key position. We, obviously are set up to build around him. One of the things that I kind of look at is a guy that we all lost faith in and is playing pretty well right now. He, been thrown around the diamond. He was a shortstop, was playing third base, and now is playing center field.
He's not built like a third baseman.
No, that's for sure. He's not. He needs to put on a few more pounds, but that could hurt the bat a little bit. But I'm talking about Javier Baez. He's 258. I mean, anything above 100 is good for Javi. I'm very happy with what we've seen so far. He's playing decent in the outfield. He's a positive WAR player this year. He's a .4 WAR player this year, which is
still
crazy.
Not really good WAR, though.
It's not a very good WAR, but comparatively to what he was last season and the last season before
than that. But at the same time,
it's progress.
Who's leading right now in WAR?
Okay, and for the Tigers,
anyone.
All right, let me.
That can kind
it
of
would be
gauge.
Zach McKinstry and then Spencer Torkelson by like a 0.1%.
In Tigers players, but in the league
All right,
overall.
let me. Okay, yeah, that's a. Let me go right here to stats, and we can figure that out in 10 seconds.
I'm not sure because that will be interesting to see who they have. If it's Shohei, I'm gonna wonder, but it's probably Judge if I had to guess.
Yeah,
but if it's Judge, take that out, and then who else?
All right, looking up, Aaron Judge leads it, and then it's
who? So that of course Judge, but
yeah. This is by AI Overview, and then it says, let me go to ESPN, not go to AI Overview. Aaron Judge, and then Tatis Jr., Pete Alonso, and then we got Corbin Carroll.
Okay, Carroll's having a better year. PCA is doing great.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Judge is clearly just awesome right now.
Who is your arguably unsung hero that you didn't see coming?
Reese Olson in the pitching. I think he's had a really good start versus the Padres, pitching a shutout. I think that was a very good game. The last game, it gives me confidence that we have 3 guys now kind of that can really dish it. And like, it's one of those things that like, yes, last year was Scooble's year, but this year I think the Tigers and the people around that organization are stepping up, doing the things they need to, coming in clutch. And I think that's a very good thing, not only for the city to play hard and do the correct things and win games, but also, for a selling point for Tarek Skubal, because now he doesn't have to be that guy. He can kind of fade into the sunset and be, I won the Cy Young 2 years ago, and we can pay him accordingly.
2 years ago, he won it last year.
Well, when we sign him, I meant like subsequently on the offseason. So to be 2 years, unless he wins it again this year. I mean, but you know what I mean? Like he can, like we can now bring him down to a reasonable arguing price instead of putting him in arbitration, which I thought, obviously you needed to because he was like, pay me the money, but we couldn't do that.
I think Pico Armstrong is a surprise for me.
Okay.
I mean, like we were talking about the Cubs. The dude has a WAR currently right now of 1.7, which, I mean, the dude has kept. I mean, he was the catalyst to win against the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think Kyle Tucker, obviously,
that was a great signing.
That was another good signing by the Cubs as well. I think the Cubs have a very good chance here of doing some big things. Now, obviously, we talk about big things and big games and big moments, and I want to talk about your Detroit Pistons, ladies and gentlemen. Because wow, I mean, did you see Game 1?
Y'all fucking choked.
Yeah, that was, you can't allow 21-0 run. That I think that was
24.
No, 21-0 run. in the fourth quarter by the Knicks. And then, the fallout happened when Asar Thompson didn't get the dunk. And that was kind of the big issue, is that like we were going to go up by big, and then we kind of then the lid got on the hoop, and we can't have that. And I think another big issue about game one was when we lost Isaiah Stewart. I think losing Stewart is big because now you only got one big guy. You can obviously throw some more guys in that rotation, but Isaiah Stewart is kind of like a warhammer. When you need, when Durham needs breaks, Stewart goes in there and he kind of, bumps around. And I think that's a very good thing for Detroit. It's the way they play physically. I think, he obviously, I don't know the status on Isaiah Stewart coming back. Let's look that up. But it is definitely a major loss to the Pistons. Oh, he is, I think this is day-to-day, has been questionable for Thursday's games. So he's questionable tonight. So, obviously losing him for game two, but, thank God it wasn't worse than that. But I really do think, game two was a very interesting matchup. Pistons snap an NBA record 15 game playoff losing streak. One of the things I don't like consistently, in the fourth quarter, again, the 16-4 runs, that hurts you. So the Pistons, obviously, the defense is a big question. What are your opinions so far on kind of what the Pistons need to improve upon going into game three tonight at 7 p.m.? What are you looking for? It's a home game. First time at LCA there is a playoff game being played at LCA. Yeah, because the Wings fucking suck. So that's a joke. Yeah, that's why we're supporting the Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoffs, because I don't want to.
Kimosabi.
Yes,
I have been. But, I don't know. I honestly think if you are Detroit, this is great. This is great to see. I think the big picture is, can you, it's kind of like I was saying with the Tigers a little bit, can you close out games?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the one thing I will worry about, because Jalen Brunson just did win Clutch Player of the Year this year. I
hate Jalen Brunson. He is such a fucking pansy. I'm sorry. You throw your head back like this, and that's a foul, dude. Really? And
if someone looks at LeBron wrong, it's a foul. Let's be completely honest. Or someone says something about Bronny, LeBron will just come and walk up to you and be like, "What'd you say about my son?"
I don't think it's even that. I think it's, what's even worse is Tom Thibodeau, the head coach of the Knicks, made comments after game two about, Jalen Brunson not getting enough calls in that game. In 2 games, just play this guessing game with me. How many fouls has Jalen Brunson
received or drawn?
Drawn, yeah. Just guess. Give me a number. Realistically.
I was going to say realistically, probably 15.
23 in 2 games. Cade Cunningham is drawed 14. And Tom Thibodeau is bitching about the refs. New York Knicks fans, are bitching about the refs.
It's New York. What do you expect?
They want to become a bigger joke. They want the NBA to become a bigger joke. Your star player is drawing 23 fouls in this series so far, and you're bitching about the refs? Are you fucking kidding me, New York? I knew you guys were dramatic because you got all those plays on Broadway down there, but the Broadway ballers just need to stop. And Tom Thibodeau just needs to shut up, because that's the biggest joke. The refs obviously are calling the games very interestingly, I have to say. There were some calls down the stretch in game one that I was like, really? That's a foul? But I think the biggest example of embellishment by Brunson has to be when Asar Thompson ran him out of bounds and he hit the scorer's table and looked at the ref. He was like, what? Why was that a foul? Jalen Brunson obviously is what it is. He's fouled out Asar Thompson. I think that's another issue the Pistons have, is stay out of foul trouble. I think closing out games, like you said, another thing is that they can't turn the ball over. They are second behind the Timberwolves right now in postseason turnovers per game, 18.5 turnovers, and it just needs to stop. And they need to make better decisions. And I think some of that comes from the way they're coming up court, because obviously the Knicks are realizing, hey, Cade's their offense. They're going to run the offense through Cade. I think setting picks, front screen, and then off-ball screen to get guys open, and then utilizing players like Schroeder and Tobias Harris and some of the bigger guys that we have. Those key players in that game, in game two, the bench really came alive. And Schroeder had some really key points in that game. And I really do think it's going to be a team effort. Like, you can't just have your starters score crazy amounts. Dennis Schroeder had 20 points off the bench. Those are the things that this team is going to need to kind of keep moving forward. What are your kind of keys for Detroit? Do you think, honestly,
play sound defense like you've been playing?
Okay. Do you think right now where we're sitting you think we have a very good chance of beating the Knicks in the series?
I want to see how tonight's game goes, and then I can make a little bit more of a decision. Because think about it this way. You had a horrible game one.
I wouldn't say horrible. I think we learned.
Collapse?
We had a collapse. Yeah, we faltered.
And then you held on in the second game. So,
yeah, we almost held. We almost didn't. That was the scary thing. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and you can't have moments where you're shooting the lights out and then you can't buy a basket. You can't have those moments. You got to consistently get points and whatnot. And I think that's also a very big thing for Detroit, because when they get tired, they kind of just go back to Cade and setting those off-ball screens, letting
But Cade can only play so much.
Yeah, but let Hardaway come up with the ball. That's
what I mean. So let your other players
come up. Yeah, I agree. So
don't let them get up on you early, because obviously if they are gonna have that lead, don't give them the easy buckets of, obviously, if Brunson is gonna get those fouls that we see each time.
Yeah.
Don't give them the easy chance to.
And I think, obviously Isaiah Stewart being out puts a lot of pressure on Jalen Durham. So, that was a key injury. He's day-to-day. Hopefully we'll see him in not game 3, but maybe game 4 coming back and playing. He's got some knee inflammation. So we're praying for a speedy recovery for Isaiah Stewart. But the Pistons game 3 tonight in Detroit. What are your keys for the Pistons? Defense, we talked about it.
And just close the game out, honestly.
Close the game out. Okay, for sure. And then watch those refs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, then we got some other big games around the league tonight. We got some other down the stretch. We obviously have a lot of games in the world of basketball. Obviously, last night you had game 2. Lakers, or a couple days ago, you had game 2 of a series of Timberwolves and Lakers. The series was tied 1-1. What do you think of that series? Luka scored 31 points. LeBron had 20. I said everyone, Lakers in 5. The beginning of the year. You don't think the Lakers are legit?
I mean, first off, Nico Harrison is a complete idiot. I'm not going to say the word I want to say, but you can picture what I would say.
Yeah. For sure.
The dude literally speaks to the media for the first time since the trade, says, I didn't know that everyone was so in love with Luka. Bro, what the fuck are you?
Yeah,
have you been pegged by your wife recently, buddy? Because I'm confused.
I mean,
how in the hell? Oh, I didn't know fans love Luka. I went to the game the day before COVID hit the United States. That team,
you
Dallas
words.
loves that. Yeah. Everyone treated him as the second coming of Dirk Nowitzki, the Euro kid, homegrown. The dude was loved there. I don't know what you're talking about. Ever since Cuban gave the reins to Harrison, the team has gone into shit.
Yeah, and that's...
Cuban was I saw Cuban from the distance from me to you when I was at the game. The dude literally is in a t-shirt and jeans and just around the fans.
I don't know why he gave up ownership. I mean...
There was a lot of reasons. It was deep. It was sad. But still, he was my favorite owner of all time.
Yeah,
across all major sports.
It's really sad because I thought at the break the Mavs had a good chance of doing something. I really thought that.
I know, and the fact they're like, we need a defensive-minded team.
Bro,
okay, cool. I get it, but fine. I mean, Luka, Clay,
Luka
Kyrie,
seems like he's tearing it up.
It's also because the thing is
with the Lakers, though.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because they're only making him or LeBron have touched the ball.
Hey, man, we got the best 2 players in the world, arguably. Let them run. Let them do what they do. I'm just saying,
the thing is with Luka is only offensive-minded, which, I know they didn't want.
Yeah, and LeBron's a very good defensive-minded guy.
No.
I mean, you also got Austin Reeves scoring 16 points.
But here's the issue.
Ryu scoring 11. I mean, I think it's a lot more than just that. I think this is a good team. When you look at it on paper, this is a team that looks like they can make a deep run in the playoffs. That's all I'm trying to say, man.
I know you are. It bugs me. It bugs me.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Seeing Luka live when I did.
That's a great.
The dude is unbelievable.
And now
as a
he's
player.
out there with Diva LeBron, and I get it.
It was so fun to see because Dallas needed that star on that team to It was fun. I wanted Dirk Nowitzki Part 2. I really did. It was sick. Sure.
Now, speaking of Dirk and speaking of a player like Dirk, may not be on the Mavs, but he's a force. They call him the Joker. We got a game tonight, a series tied 1-1, Clippers and Nuggets. I thought the Nuggets would have a better stretch here. I thought they would obviously, maybe sweep
There's a glaring
the
weakness. I should have looked at the article the other day, but there is a glaring weakness. I'm not sure what it was. ESPN put something out about it.
Porter Jr. is day-to-day, so they have some issues when it comes to health.
MPJ is I don't think it's the health, though. I'm not.
Yeah.
Let me pull it.
Let me look at the previous games here. Yeah, no, they lost the last game. It was a close game. And I mean, I think, obviously Kawhi Leonard and that Clippers team, they have some
inconsistent three-pointer and poor perimeter defense.
That's what it is?
Yep.
Okay.
So, which if you're playing a team that has
Kawhi Leonard,
perimeter defense,
yeah, no, I mean, this, it's one of those things. You got James Harden on that Clippers team, too.
And the thing is, too, lack of consistent scoring, too. Because, Jamal can go off.
Yeah.
But if he's cold and if Jokic has to play hero ball,
then you're going to have that issue. Yeah, I agree. So what do you think of the Clippers moving forward? Do you think they can beat the Nuggets? Because I thought the Nuggets were going deep.
As do I. But I don't know. I really don't know.
So you don't. Okay, so
Clippers surprised me, but at the same time, I don't know. I think
one of the things that you talked about in that right there, and
it's the Thunder or bust. If I'm being honest, this Thunder team looks insane, and the scariest part about this team,
that's where you're going with it, Thunder or bust. You don't think any of these other teams can compete?
Did you see the last game the Thunder played?
I did see the last game the Thunder played.
65-point win.
Yeah,
And here's what's scary. The Thunder have picks for first round picks, mind you, and lottery picks, mind you, all the way till 2030 right now. Imagine you're a team like the Thunder who are on the chance to win the
NBA championship, yes.
Or vie for it, and you have arguably, if he doesn't win it, I'd be shocked.
65?
The MVP.
Yeah. 65 points?
Yeah, at one point it was 65s.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
It was a 65-point lead at one point.
That's nuts.
You have the MVP this year, and there's a chance you could have a lottery pick for the next 5 to 7 years.
Because of the moves they made?
Because of the SGA trade, yes.
That's crazy.
The fact they have first-round picks and half of them are lottery picks.
No, the largest lead was 56, not 65. But still, I was
50-point lead.
That's unbelievable.
Look at the scores. Shit. Look at the scores of the last two games they played.
Yeah, 131 to 80. I feel bad for Memphis. I think, obviously.
You see why they fired their coach now?
Yeah, because, you're running into a freight train. What do you expect?
And the thing is, they're the youngest roster in the league.
Yeah.
And it's going to get even younger because of all those draft picks. That's scary. Think about it this way. You win the NBA championship. Oh, by the way, you also have a lottery pick in next year's draft.
Yeah, but my
you get
thing
a
is
top
this.
15 player after winning the chip.
You talk about the future of the league and you talk about the draft picks. Boston has said they're going to try to trade for the Duke player. What's his name? My mind's blanking. They're not going to
get Cooper Flag. I would love that.
They're going to be trading Jaylen Brown and a few other key players on that team to try to get that youth because they realize that OKC could have a few. Yeah, it'd be amazing. I'd love that too.
But here's my issue though. Tatum plays the power forward. So does Cooper. That's my only issue.
No, I think they're going to trade Tatum and Brown.
They wouldn't trade Tatum. They can't trade. They wouldn't do that. I can tell you that.
Or they're going to trade Jaylen Brown.
That I could see. I love Jaylen Brown. Dude's a great guy, but I could see it. But But and then probably you'll move Tatum to the 3. But just imagine that duo.
Yeah.
Quite scary. Even though a lot of comparisons, Flag has a lot of different comparisons, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people say close to, I forget who his comparisons recently were, but like some are like really good and then some are like all right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that there is going to be some interesting moves made. I don't know if Flag's going to
be a Celtic. To be sick.
A major trade would need to be done.
It would be Jaylen Brown, though. You're right about that.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what else, really.
So you have OKC going all the way and winning this. I have Boston. I think Boston's going back to back.
That's my East pick.
Okay, so I mean, but I think the Pistons are going to, if they beat the Knicks, can go far in this. I really do think.
I think you got to worry about Indy right now. Indy is playing.
We would play the Cavs next, the winner of that series.
Oh, okay.
So like I think we can get to the out of this round.
You'll beat the Cavs if you do play them.
Really?
Cavs are. I mean, the reason the Cavs are here, sure, but the East is so weak.
Okay, so you think that matchup right now in the deficits that we're seeing with the Heat isn't like obviously the Heat.
It's the Heat suck.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, Zach, but the Heat fucking suck.
Yeah, dude, your teams are letting you down, man.
I'm just surprised the Heat even made it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, Orlando and the Heat are just kind of hanging around.
Orlando kind of, I mean, I was hopeful they would get better.
Yeah.
I think it's just, for me, the Heat fucking suck.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that. But, a team that,
Boston, what is it? OKC would be quite fun.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Definitely. I agree with that. Now, you talk about Boston, and then we just talked Detroit basketball, but let's go to the flip side here. The last time Boston, Detroit, and I believe one other team, I don't remember that off the top of my head, didn't make the playoffs. The Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup.
Anyone when the original six didn't make it?
Yeah. The Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup. Now, what are your thoughts about the playoffs so far? Obviously, you're 2-0 against Ottawa. That first game, I watched it. Dude, there were so many fights, and I love it. I love when Canadian teams square off.
I love most when it comes to playoff hockey is when it
rip their heads off.
Well, it's just a battle of whatever. Like, think about it this way. You got, 2 years ago, it was the Battle of Alberta. Edmonton, Calgary. Freaking awesome.
Yeah, and I mean...
And, when it's the battle of, certain areas, and you got two teams from the same area, it's fucking great.
Like, when Chicago and Detroit was in the West, and that was a major rivalry.
In a way, but, think about it right now. The battle for Florida.
Yeah, for real.
You got Tampa and Florida playing each other.
Two teams that can't stand each other.
Exactly.
Too.
That's what's great. I mean, the Battle of Ottawa. Who's the better team from the capital?
Yeah.
Battle of Alberta back in, I think it was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And then you even got Colorado and Dallas going at it.
Which has some significance to it as well.
Because of the trade we talked about in our earlier episode that happened. So,
man. I mean, I love how Toronto's playing.
Yeah.
Can we keep it up?
Okay.
I think we can.
I think Ottawa's a weak team.
No, it's just they're unproven.
I think you're going to sweep them. I think you're going to sweep them, dude.
I'm not going to say we're not going to sweep them, but I think they're not as bad as you say they are.
I think they're going to. I mean, you're up 2-0.
Barely.
Who are you playing tonight? Where were you playing tonight? I think that's so. You're playing
it's in Ottawa.
Ottawa. Okay, so I mean,
here's the thing. It took OT for us to get to 2-0. That's what worried me after winning 6-2.
Yeah. I do definitely think an interesting kind of matchup that you kind of alluded to because of the goaltender. I thought obviously
Stolarz played mad last game though.
Who?
Stolarz, our goalie.
Oh yeah, no,
the dude was a bully.
I was talking about Stewart's and the
Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, I was flipping it. My bad.
Not playing good.
Yeah, no, and you alluded to that earlier on last episode when after my rant, and I was like, I didn't really bat an eye, but I saw a meme, AI generated meme of Connor McDavid just trashing Stewart
Stewart's playing
dude. He's playing hero puck right now. Like the Oilers were totally out of that game, and he had to put the team on his shoulders. The Kings have scored 12 points. 12 points. Yeah, they scored 12 points in two. Yeah, I mean. It's just kind of like, wow, holy shit.
Yeah, this is not the same team from last year.
No, it's not. And that was
but that's also why they didn't win the cup either. Those Stewie's inconsistencies. That's why it took to 7.
Yeah, and you need a goalie. And I don't
he's
know.
He's good. He's just streaky.
Yeah.
He's just too streaky.
Look at Detroit's situation. Same thing with Mrazek. Same thing with Talbot. They're good, but streaky.
Exactly.
And, you look at kind of the inner workings of the West. Dallas is up on Colorado. Everyone called us crazy to think that Dallas could win this series. I think it's possible.
I think it's still going to be a long series, though.
Yeah.
I really do. I know.
What do you think a key for Dallas is in this next game?
Ottinger can't get rattled.
Okay.
The dude, I mean, you lost 5-2. Or 5-1 game one.
Yeah.
And they looked lost.
Arguably the hardest position to play in any sports goalie. Where you're talking lacrosse, you're talking soccer. It's basically the equivalent of a pitcher.
If we're going, all right, let's go to this discussion.
And when you get
hardest
hammered,
position in sport, in any sport.
In any sport. I would say pitcher in baseball, goalie in hockey and lacrosse. I would say
pitcher in baseball?
Yeah. Because
starter or closer, what do you think?
Starter.
Okay.
More pitches, more
I would say
variability.
Closer, but that's just me.
Okay, fair. No, but we both think pitcher there.
Yeah.
I think in hockey, goalie, I kind of talked about that. What else? What else is in there?
What do you have for football?
Football? Quarterback or center?
I disagree.
I think center, you have to be the smartest guy on the field. You got to know what everyone's doing.
I disagree with your quarterback take.
Okay, what do you think the hardest position is in football? I mean, quarterback, you have a lot. You're basically leading the team. You're running the offense, and same with the center. He's running the offensive line.
The center take is fine.
Okay,
it's the safety. I can tell you from experience.
Okay, no, I can see that.
I can tell you from experience.
Yeah, safety is the quarterback of the
myself.
Defense. Yeah, I can see that.
The amount of pressure you have on that.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I would say if it's not that, I'd say for sure inside linebacker.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, there is some.
But from experience being a safety myself.
So why not quarterback in your mind? Why center? Why just the offensive lineman?
Because here's the thing. The center also, like you said, dictates the offense. Because the center calls the plays as well. Like you think of pointing them out.
He calls protections. He makes checks at the line. Basically, the center and quarterback are communicating with each other heavily.
They're one and the same. That's the thing. Yeah. Because if the center's not on the same page as everyone else.
Yeah, and
if everyone goes but the center doesn't, it's a penalty.
Ball start and everyone but the center have seen that before.
Exactly. I would say from experience, safety is one of the hardest positions because think about it this way: if you get burnt,
SOL.
Who's there to help you?
Yeah, exactly.
You're fucked.
Yeah, you're the last.
You
the
are
last
the
line
last
of defense,
and that's in a run play or a pass play. You are fucked if you blow your assignment.
Yeah.
Well, or a corner because you got to have your feet. Yeah. Because coming from experience, if you do not set your feet, or if you're getting pressed off the line,
and
you're good as fuck getting back to.
And we can kind of see this a little bit too. I don't know what it was this year, but I feel like goalies in the NHL are kind of like they're pushing and gliding too much, and that over push sometimes can kind of screw them up. And I think for like all these goalies going forward that are struggling, like Stewart, he needs to stay within himself. Don't try to
stay in between the pipes.
Yeah, and we see a lot this year that's occurring, that the goalies are trying to push pipe to pipe, and it's just they're over pushing. They're putting too much effort into it. And I think it's very interesting to see kind of that transpire. Now, who is your favorite to kind of get to that Western Conference Finals and then Eastern Conference Finals? I want to talk about the finals.
I want to say Dallas.
Okay,
but so you think it's sad that obviously they have to play Colorado because I would love a Dallas-Colorado Western Conference if I'm being honest.
I think that'd be cool. But okay, so you got Dallas coming from that upper echelon. If
I'm being honest, it's Dallas.
And then who you got in the lower section of the Western Conference?
I think Winnipeg still makes a good push. I mean, I'm not going to...
No. So how I'm looking at the bracket right now, Dallas and Winnipeg would play if they won the series. They'd play each other in that second round. You either got Vegas, Minnesota, the Kings, or Edmonton in that lower bracket.
God,
I got Kings. I think it's going to be a Dallas and Kings matchup. I think the Kings are playing hot right now.
I think if Edmonton can get their shit together, second to none. If Edmonton can get their shit together.
I think when you have a goalie like Stewart acting like Swiss cheese out there, I think it's over.
Vegas, though, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so you think the Golden Knights going back? Wow, that's crazy. Do you think they're going to make it to the finals?
No.
So Dallas is going.
I think Dallas has what it takes. I know everyone loves to talk about Vegas, but let's be real. Do you really want to watch Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final at 11:30 at night?
You were talking about that earlier this year.
It's fucking ridiculous. The Game 2, you look at it and you're like, what time's the game? oh, Minnesota Wild, Vegas Golden Knights, 11:30 at night.
Well, that's because it's in Vegas. When it comes to Minnesota, it will be at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. But still,
that's even worse.
Yeah, I mean,
I go to bed at 11:30 at night on a weekday. I'm not trying to stay up till 2 a.m. just to the end of the game.
But the thing is like, think about it from the broadcasting perspective. It's like hockey and MLB have very similar like
regional stuff. Regional stuff. But like we've never seen them this late. It's only during the regular season we see them this late.
Yeah,
we've never seen them for playoffs this late.
Exactly. And I think that's going to be a very interesting thing that the NHL is going to have to kind of figure out when it comes to scheduling.
They have the highest viewership they've had in years now, and now, oh, by the way, let's have it at
Well, people. You just kind of watch one game to another. I think they fade.
Yeah,
put it on. Just kind of
but think about it this way: by the end of period 1, it's already midnight.
Yeah,
most people have corporate jobs in America. No one's gonna be wanting to stay up till 1:30 when you have work the next morning.
Exactly.
To watch that.
Thank God that our favorite teams, the Maple Leafs and the Wings, are in the Eastern Conference now. Out of the Eastern Conference, who you got to go in the finals?
I want it to be Toronto.
Okay, Toronto.
I worry I worry about sneaky Florida. I still worry.
Okay. Either team?
Yes, either team. I think honestly, it's gonna be. I do think though this Toronto team is special. Year. I always say it every year.
The problem is that you got Washington and Carolina that are probably heading to round 2. Who do you got winning that matchup if that happens?
Toronto would play Carolina, or would they play?
It would go Toronto, Ottawa now, Tampa, Florida, and then they would play the winners of those teams over there. And then so you have a little bit of a Florida gauntlet getting there. But then you got either Washington or Carolina. As it's looking right now, you never know. Jersey or the Maple, the Habs could kind of come back, but I don't think that's happening.
If I'll say this, if Washington can play the way they've played throughout the season, they'll be okay.
So bold take here. I think Washington's running away with the Stanley Cup.
I don't.
I do. I think Alexander Ovechkin's not only going to break he broke Gretzky's scoring record. I think he's also going to hoist a cup this year. I think that'd be the icing on the cake, and you might see him retire.
I don't think he's retiring this year.
If he wins the cup, man, go out on high. Yeah, go out with a high streak, you know?
Yeah.
But so who do you see? Because I see is Toronto, Washington for the Eastern Conference Finals. And then
I would say
I see Washington and I see LA for the finals. I think it's going to be coast to coast. I think we're going to be viewing games really at 7 p.m. and then games at 11. I think it's going to be hell.
Yeah. No.
But for the love of God, no.
Even if it's in Dallas though, like if Dallas ends up making it, games won't even be late. That's the thing.
I think that's nice to have that happen.
Like for me in a perfect world, I think it could be a Dallas Toronto matchup. If I'm being honest.
Okay. Dallas Toronto. So just for sleep schedule purposes.
Well, not just that. It's just, I feel like these two teams have the storylines in place. I mean,
they do.
Dallas has, looked the betterment of that team. Yeah. I mean, not to say Vegas doesn't have it either, but like there's just something about this Dallas team that just it feels like a team of destiny this year.
Definitely. Now, sadly, this is all we got here for you folks tonight. So I want to thank you, obviously, for tuning in. You'll be seeing us in a different format in the future because I am graduating and no longer have access to the studio. And hopefully in the future, we will be able to purchase some of these cool things that we see here and kind of do what we're doing here. But from all of us over here at the Super Sports Bros, we want to thank you. I'm going to thank Western Michigan and Wider for allowing us to use this great equipment.
And you might see us with our dads next time.
Yeah, we might be doing a little...
Don't take that out of context, please.
Little Dad's podcast. We'll let you know. But from all of us over here, we want to thank you for tuning in and have a great night.
Enjoy, friends.